you might work in the mortgage industry, but are you a salesperson? Are you a leader, a manager, an organizer, a visionary, an integrator, whatever that, and you've probably seen it with all these coaches and stuff like that. What avatar are you and stuff like that, right? It's like,
Your R-type.
yeah, exactly. So I think, you know, are you a leader or a marketer? You might do everything, but what are you really? Or are you a salesperson? There's some people that I know, some pretty high end and high producing and very wealthy people that are in that only want to do mortgage, and they don't want other people. They don't want to lead people. They have a team and somebody else leads it because they don't really
Yeah.
want it, because they're so good at sales or focusing on one thing, even though they could have a big company. In fact, one of my partners and affiliates who has a mortgage company, has a big mortgage company, has like 300 people in it, but he doesn't run the mortgage company. He still closes. He's like a top producer in the country, and he produces his own loans and runs it through the company. So built a company because he's so good, but that's not what he loves to do. He doesn't love to, he doesn't want to lead people and do the marketing and help others. He wants to focus on his own business and just build another business on the side, I guess, if you will. Almost like that, even though it's the same thing. So finding out what you're good at, where you're good at, what you want to do is important. And if it's getting on stage, if it's speaking, if it's helping people, if it's selling, if it's focusing on yourself, if it's becoming a pro at product knowledge. And for like us, been in it for so long, and starting all these different positions, you've gained all this knowledge there, and it's like you can now you have some basis of what do I want to do, because you actually know a little bit about it, right? Like, I know processing, I know underwriting works, I know reverses, I know business, personal loans and consumer loans, residential loans, and all this kind of stuff, right? Which you don't get by just guessing or thinking about it. If you're new to any industry, it's time, it's experience, right? So the biggest thing you never get back, time that you got to invest in.
Yes, definitely, for sure. And you get to utilize your discernment and all of that once you have that much knowledge, versus using it all at once. But also, time you never get back. But I like to use it in compound interest, and using everything I've learned over the last 40 years. And how do I utilize that all now? And using all that time to take me ahead. Basically, the way I like to think of it is just spending space and time. How do I take what I want that normally would take 5, 10, 20 years, and using time, and sometimes also money helps make time moves faster too. And how do you take everything you ever wanted and put it here now? And it takes a lot of time, as you said, in order to learn that. As I've been in the mortgage industry 19 years now, May 2005, I got my first job doing data entry, $12 an hour, doing subprime mortgage, and I was ecstatic at the time. It was at the end of a great era in 2005, and I got to see what our economy does over and over again every 15 years. And now we're coming back to that time where it's taking off, and it's taking off really big. And how do you line up your chessboard, everything that you've ever learned, and share with one another? How do you, the same exact way that you and we met? I was in the mortgage industry for 12 years doing just operations, processing, doc drawing, funding, before I decided to get licensed in 2017 with American Financial Network. And we now work with directmyloan.com, which is part of American Financial Network, and understand that you've always been here. You've done the work. I got out of the business for a couple of years in order to learn other parts of other industries and bring it all back together now. And we're back together again. And it's just like, okay, we got something, and it makes sense. I've been through this part of the industry before. I was a processor, I was an underwriter, I did just straight up 1003 data entry of applications, became a loan officer, and eventually a director of operations for one of the largest mortgage companies in the United States, and a VP of sales, and learning the metrics in the matrix and how it all works. And you do this in a one-person shop or a 5,000 person company, and figure out how it works for you, and picking your product, really. What do you want to focus on? You want to focus on FHA first? You want to focus on VA purchases, or HECMs, reverse mortgages? Because what sits with you? You can learn everything eventually over time and pivot, but it's kind of learning the industry first and picking a product that sits with you. Going to the candy store, you don't have to take every single piece, but it's just, taste a couple of things and be like, okay, this is what I like. I know, in 7 years from now, my taste buds are going to change and I'm going to go from salty to sweet when something else, but the economy is going to change. So how do you flow with it and not get stuck?
Yeah.
That's one way that I like to really think and just pivot, move, grow, and adjust your sales. And we're in the market now where everything's turned on. FHA loans rates are down, VA loans are down. I moved to Las Vegas about a year ago, and it's purchase city right now. They're building a new baseball stadium on the strip. Basketball stadium's coming next, and this just creates more and more jobs. With those more jobs, they've already built Fountain Blue and Durango in the last year alone. They both opened up December, so less than 12 months ago. The jobs that those create, it creates more houses. These people bought in a market that was 7%. Right now, rates are 5.5%, 6%. They could very easily go ahead and refinance into that lower interest rate, as well as the purchase people they know get now. Rates are coming down. They're going to continuously come down. However, the values of the houses are going up with the casinos coming in, with the new basketball. There's a movie studio being built in Summerlin right now that I know is in talks with Mark Wahlberg, and that's thousands of jobs. I'm getting text message every day to come to this video for casting call. I'm like, I'm not an actor. I was like, what's our archetypes? It's like, that's not it. Being here, talking to people, everything that I've learned over the last 19 years as a processor, how to tune your pipeline, like an instrument, to play a song that it's not wonky anymore. It's flowing, and it starts in the front, in the back, in the middle. I like to look at things like in a Tarantino type of view, starting in the middle of where we want, but then loans come to the sales side first and through processing and underwriting. If you get a loan nice and clean up front, as every single one of my clients, I tell them right up front, can I get a copy of your mortgage statement, your homeowner's insurance, your ID, your last 2 pay stubs, your last 2 tax returns if they're a regular W-2 employee. And within the first hour, I bring that up at least 2, 3 times if you bring that up. On our first phone call, before we hang up, I text them to let them know, hey, look, here's my cell phone number. Feel free to text me anytime, but please send me a copy of your mortgage statement. As soon as I hang up, I also send them an email saying, hey, here's all my information. Once again, my contact line. Please also send me a copy of your mortgage statement, your homeowner's insurance, your ID, and whatever other income information I need. I take an hour to go ahead, look through the pricing, see what the quotes are for them that works. I like to give them 3, honestly, whatever's the most expensive, whatever's the least expensive, and whatever's right in the middle. So it's their choice in regards to what deal they pick. And by the time I get it back to them, normally within that hour, I've already prepped them to have those things to get to processing. So there is no bottlenecking in the middle, because I've seen in the past lots of companies, they like to start with sales first. And if you don't have the operation system that was set up by a company like ours that's been in place for 18, 19 years or so, in regards to making sure that the loans move and they don't just stop there, they don't stay. And it's so impertinent to understand how it flows and to keep it going so the sales team could continuously keep on moving everything in and not have to worry about that. And if from the very beginning you get those key pieces, your processors are going to love you. If everything is in your 1003, they're going to take a look at your loan and be like, oh, this is John's. We're going to go ahead and move this right away, because they know it's going to be quick and easy to get through processing. But if you leave it till later and you don't have the bank statements, or they're 3 years ago and their pay stubs or W-2s not recent, these are the things that's going to hold it back. And then you put it in there, it gets to the processor. It's like, that's not what we need. And to train from the very beginning, it's a simple foundation. It's so easy. And to understand, like, it's psychology 101. It's just break it down, make it
there's
as
so many
easy.
different, so many different aspects to how you run any business, single person business, big business, corporate business, right? But yeah, you have to have like the operating procedures. That's the foundation. That's the structure. I think companies are, you can see, I mean, again, there's multiple reasons and stuff like that for success and failures of companies, but a lot of it comes down to the systems that they have in place, right? Good financials and good systems. And without those, you can see a great company go under. You can see a mediocre company shoot to the top if they have a good system in there and they run good financials of what it comes down to, right? So I think those are very, very key. And then once you do have a foundation, you need to, it will come down to marketing and sales as the entrance of the house, right? You get the foundation, you built the house. The first walking in that front door is sales and marketing, because you're going to make your way to the kitchen. If we're talking about a house analogy, make your way through the house, and that's going to be how that file or how that operation or how and whatever it is, if you're running a construction company, how it flows through your systems and your procedures and whatnot. So yeah, super, super important, right? Like I said, all that stuff coming together. And I know it was funny what mentioning like time. I was thinking as you're saying it, and I'm like, I'm gonna do a deep dive on how time works, because it feels like time is always speeding up as you get older, right? We always say, "Oh, time
Yes.
flies as you get older," and I started thinking, I'm like, well, maybe that's because we have so much more knowledge that we're processing way faster. And I don't know the science behind it, but it just makes sense, because as I get older, when I'm young, I'm stupid and time's slower because I don't know that much about it. So I have my all the time in the world to wonder and what ifs. And as I'm older, I have knowledge and I know certain outcomes or certain things, and it's firing quicker. And maybe that's speeding up the time. Maybe that's part of the reason that we say time flies by as you get older. But who knows?
Definitely.
I want to do a deep dive and figure out how the mind works with time and knowledge.
Definitely, yeah. I love times. For me, it's just having a relationship with it. Whether if you have a relationship with your creator or your wife, your business partners, and everything else, it's just I like to speak great of time as I speak great of anybody else, to know that it's going to deal with me great. And instead of thinking that I don't have enough time, I like to think that I'm in time. Without time, I can't be here on Earth. So,
Mhm.
like, if I'm in time, then time's working for the best of me, and then I get to do multiple things at a time. Like, you get multiple things right now in the presence of just understanding that, what is my archetype as I am doing multiple things all at the same
Yeah. So much time, so much time. So what made you like you said, you've been in the business a long time. You got out, you had an amazing story and journey, right? That we've talked about and learned other things too. But why do you, what made you think about coming back? You mentioned like, you're like, I started just touching base and talking to people again. But what was the push that said, I need to come back? It's my time.
Yes, and I'll go a little further back here. Of when I had my office and when we first met, I was working in Huntington Beach, and I had a very successful mortgage business at the end of the 2021, 2022 part of where we were in the industry. And leads just started going away. The branch, the company that I work for, they shut down the entire Western division, and I decided that I'm going to keep on going for myself. I had a little bit of savings saved up. I moved out of my office, out of my apartment, and decided to move into my office. And I lived there for 30 days, just knowing that anything I have, I'm going to grind for myself. Nobody out there is going to come and save me. Nobody's going to protect me. I have, at the time, my daughter just 16 and a half, almost 17, and I let her know, like, hey, I'm gonna need you to go to your mom's for a little bit because dad's gotta get a home. I know a lot of people in this industry that they lost their homes, they lost their jobs, and they didn't know what to do. So I really decided just to ground down, and it took me about a year and a half during the same time of talking to the people in the industry that I've worked with over the last 19 years, people in different companies, as well as my marketing team. I had three people that I work with, two direct mail guys and one live call transfer purchase person in Texas, and let them know that I went on this journey. I went from having an office in Huntington Beach with an ocean view, and I bought my 16-year-old daughter Mercedes SUV, and lost it all for a short time. Living in my car, came to Las Vegas, and I was thankful that a friend of mine who's living out here, UFC fighter Alex Perez, opened up his house to me and said, hey, you need a place to stay. Come out here. As I came out, and my car broke down that weekend, and I kind of really had nowhere to go. And building it up in this time, I realized like I need to reinvent myself in a way to become survivable. And I started working a few different jobs in the last year in Las Vegas. I worked the hotel and hospitality industry for 3 different casinos and bar and food, as well as security, learning if I already became the top at one industry in this world, how do I become nobody to reintroduce myself and do it all over again? And at the time where just I figured it out, the mortgage industry started. I called Andrew from AFN, and I just said, "Hey guys, I'm in a really good place right now. I have some money. I'm looking to put some money into advertising and marketing, and the industry's doing very well. Everybody I know, it's back, and I'm looking to dive in." Talked to a little bit of a couple people, and now that I'm here, I met you. We signed up, and it made sense, knowing where that we first met in 2017. Well, the company itself, and this is where I got licensed. And from us getting licensed there, we started talking in 2021, 2022, seeing what you're doing, see what I'm doing, knowing that you stayed on the ship and the path, and that I honestly, like, I always thought like so highly of you and Andrew and everything you guys stuck through, and I was able to curve around and learn multiple other matrices and how to be able to put that into our business now and be able to turn not just a VA office that I had into multiple streams now and taking that into just blown up. Honestly, I'm ready to go ahead and put everything back in and use all the tools that I've learned over time, using the compound interest on starting this team with you in regards to bring on not only new people that are looking to learn a trade, but also people that's been in the industry for quite a while, people that are there every single day working for themselves, people that are riders and not hitchhikers, people that understand, like me, that's just like, it's okay when things get hard to fight, and there is no bottom, there is just you. And as long as you know that, like, you got that grit, you got that dog, and you just keep on digging, just, we're going to come back up. And we're not going to. It's done. We're here. Like, we're signed the contracts. We're signing more. And it's not even about what, right? Like, they're finding us. We're finding them. It's coming back together, and knowing that everything that we've done in our lives was for this time now. I like to think that the industry gave me this break in order to learn so much in the last year and a half. I became a Reiki practitioner, and I started doing sound baths for children in neurological hospitals, which I'm actually doing one this Friday, the 13th. And, being able to learn to heal on another level, on, like, people like tell me, like, "Oh, sorry, you lived in your car." You're like, "No, I'm thankful. Like, I had a car that worked." And then by the time that I got to Las Vegas, it's just like, cool. Now I have a home to start to build in. Now I have a job. Now how do I start to work on me again and understand that this whole time I was always working on me. I chose to just get as bare as possible, slim. Like, when you're starting a P&L in a business, start slim. Don't start worrying about taking on your cousins, your brothers, your aunts. Feed yourself first. Know that you got fed. I got a little chubby. I put on about 10 pounds in the last year too. It's just like, okay, cool. I'm fed. Now, how do I go ahead and share all the knowledge that I have with other people? How do I get, and I'm already here. This is why I think to you, like, I wanted to go ahead and record together. I wanted to go ahead and get on this podcast and let people know what I've done, where I've been. I started at $12 an hour, got to a P&L that was well over $100,000 a month. We'll start at the low end. And how you could do that all within yourself, understanding business, understanding being a loan officer. Are you a salesperson? Are you a lead generator? Are you an office manager? And there's spaces for everybody, and that's the really cool thing about this industry. We're right now in completely different states talking to each other. As was it Jim Carrey, the cable guy, the information superhighway, it's just like we get to communicate with people around the world, as we're literally looking to hire people right now in North Carolina and Alaska and Florida. It's just, are you looking to originate? Do you want to work? Cool. Yeah. Let's go ahead and do it now.
Yeah, no, I like what you said. I use the analogy all the time that, what you said a minute ago, put your oxygen mask on first. You can't help many people if you can't breathe, right? So you got to do that. And I'm excited to see where we go, right? Like, I have a pretty good vision of it, and I'm excited to see how it works out. So thank you for being a part and joining. And like I said, we have a similar kind of a story, right? Like I love those stories. I love the rags to riches kind of story, right? And going through these hard times to get to better times, because it is, if everything's perfect, it's only going to, it's not going to grow, right? It's going to be a kind of a steady growth. People like me and you, it sounds like we rock bottom and shoot to the stars, and rock bottom, shoot to the stars. So, and you can keep that scale going up if you're, like a, home value. That's the kind of chart we want, right? Just keeps going up and up and up. So I think that's cool. Like I said, I'm excited to see what we do. I'm thankful to see what we can do here, what we will do, and going into next year, because at the end of the day, what we say is we sell money. We find problems to fix. That's really as simple as it gets. Whether it's finding a problem of I need a home, or I need to get rid of debts, or I need to restructure this, or I need to help my son get out of jail, or whatever the reason is, that's our problem. That's our job. And to be pros at finding out what the problem is and fixing it. And by doing so, we all get rewarded in monetary value, in education, and knowledge, and friends, and everything else, becoming omnipresent with your local areas or national or whatever you want. I mean, so we live in a great country that we can do whatever we want to do, and there's no limit in this business, which is one of the things that's always attracted me. Like said, yours, like on my wall right now, your life is your fault. So if you want to be doing nothing, that's fine. That's your decision. And if you want to shoot to the moon, there's nothing that can stop you. There's no cap on it, right? Like maybe a regular job somewhere, right? Working the DMV, or a nurse or something like that. Like, so if you love it and you're doing that, that's great. But you are kind of capped at what you can do. So I think it's super exciting times of what's happening. And like I said, I know we could probably talk for hours as far as the journeys of doing that, which is what like I said, I love the rags. I love looking at a person, not for where they at, but where they can be. And sometimes that's my crutch as well, because I'm so optimistic in people. But I would rather have somebody be part of the team who's selling chiclet on the side of the highway in a third world country than I would some entitled person that thinks they know what to do. That person that hustles and drives, and they do what they have to do to make things happen, to make ends meet, or to grow, is way more valuable in my opinion, than somebody who maybe was handed a ticket but doesn't use it, or is smarter than the average bear but doesn't apply it, right? So I've
Like,
always liked that. Like in the other office, everything was hustle, hustle. Oh no, I'm not wearing that shirt today, but usually it's like I got my hustle juice coffee cup here. Everything's about hustling in our business. It's not like hustling, like, doing things unethical. It's hustling to get to a certain point that that you are driven to help as many freaking people as possible, right? To get as good as you possibly can, to be as successful as you can, whatever that is. Like I said, it might be money for you, it might be family, it might be your health, it might be whatever, but they all connect to each other. You can't be healthy if you're depressed all the time, probably, right? You can't have a well-balanced family if you're having medical problems and you have financial problems and personal problems, right? So success is all of that, and it's all got to grow. So again, super excited, to see where we're at, by Q1, Q2, Q3, Q4 of next year. Aside from all the out of our hands kind of components, like what will happen with the market and the world and the economy and everything else, how many more people get out of the business, how many more people come into the business, what new programs are coming around that might help people, spotting things that are unethical that other people might be doing, that we can make sure we can call out and protect our clients, or as many people as we possibly can. That's the thing, we're like trying to talk to as many people as we possibly can to inform them and educate them and help get them into a better life, to live the actual American dream of what it is, with, at least when it comes to home ownership. And if it's not home ownership, heck, I've had therapy sessions with clients that we never did a loan for, but they needed somebody to talk to, right? So you come across all that too. And like you said, you do other things out there as well that help people. And if we could all, be driven by helping others, be driven by educating others, be driven by becoming better, by making other people better, then the world might be a better place.
What's your attention, you know? Because no matter what business you're in, where are you coming from? And that's so important. And like you have the control of all of that and understanding with time, do you want to be a better person or not? And there's works that come in with that. And everything that we've done, what is your archetype? And it's so cool. I guess we're talking about sales, and it goes from sales to education, because that's one of my favorite things as well, is to be an educator. And it kind of eventually removes the sales part. If you just educate the people enough, they're making it their own decision. You're not selling them on anything. It's just, it makes sense. This product, they need it, they want it, it's what they're looking for. And that's a lot of what we've actually created as well. The marketing that you already have right now going on with the team, they are calling in. Why are they calling in? Because you gave them something they want to inquisite about. They want to know, what is this? You're telling me that my rate go lower or I get more money, educate me. And every single
Mm-hmm.
day, like you're putting it into practice. And it's really cool just to be able to be here and understand it's not only in practice, but it's part of the matrix and the metrics. And it's another part of the archetype of the educator, other than just the salesperson, and being able to tie that all together with the leader. And
Yeah.
I
It's kind of,
love
I
you.
didn't even tell you, but we named the podcast, or I changed the podcast name, I guess half a year ago, whatever it was, to the motive, because the definition of motive, which is a reason for doing something, especially one that's not obvious, which is exactly what we do. I mean, most people don't know how to do something, how to fix the problem they might be in, right? Whether, or how to get the house, or, we talk about all the time, but people still have standards that maybe their mom or neighbor or grandma told them, you can't get this because of that, or values are going to crash, or just keep paying extra, or whatever the reason is. They're getting maybe bad advice. And we want to help educate people with why they should do something, because they might not know how to do it. It might not be obvious right now, but here's some things that let me make it obvious for you. And that there's always ways to pull yourself out of the tunnel, right? Or to get in a better position, right? Like we keep driving forward, which is driving forward on educating, on doing better, and as helping as many people as we possibly can, right? So yeah. By the way, that's the name of our podcast, The Motive,
The
for that
motive.
reason.
Yes. Are you clear with me? Are you transparent? You
Yeah,
know, it's like,
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. So awesome, man. Like I said, I love talking. We'll do more of these as well. We try to have these talks cater towards professionals to hope get them in a different way of thinking, right? And I know that you're so big as well as I am on mindset and subconscious thoughts, and getting that headspace in the right place, basically, right? And I think that's so important. And again, like I said, we kind of direct our conversation to professionals to kind of maybe get them into thinking a little differently, or being more optimistic, or driving harder. But it's also information that if I'm a consumer and I know nothing, maybe I could find value in it. Maybe I can apply it to my life somehow. Maybe I can get educated on something I didn't know about to help me make a better decision. So with that, I know going back here, like I said, obviously you're an awesome person, a lot of things going on, just getting rocking and rolling here. But what do you think is the main reason like people would want to work with you, be part of a team with you, and why would clients want to work with you? I think because we all have our little niches, and our special charisma, our special things.
Definitely, yes. One reason why, honestly, and I'm just going to share a couple things that people that have worked with me in the past have told me. A buddy of mine, Elon, who worked with me at one of my last companies, told me that the reason why he works for me is because I lead with my heart. And that meant a lot to me. I grew up in Brooklyn, New York. I was an altar server at my church at 11 years old. I was in the Boy Scouts of America and made the rank of Eagle at 16. And I hold their law very true to me that I recite a lot, multiple times a day sometimes. And it's, it's, there's certain things about being there for yourselves and being a leader and understanding how businesses work. I still, from becoming a vice president of a company, I'm still going to clean the floors. If there's a spill in the kitchen and the refrigerator, I'm going to wipe it up. I'm not that cool. Like titles, like they're made up. Like I'm here, like for me to create things and have fun. And that's the biggest thing for me. It's having fun in a workspace, utilizing your emotional intelligence and understanding that we're all going through something. and it's all okay. Whether if you're a borrower and are you getting this home loan because you're going on vacation or because you need this money because, you're kind of in a bind, and being sympathetic with somebody. Same thing as if it was to be somebody who works with me in the office, a processor, a loan officer, just like, what somebody's going through and just being kind, being understanding, but also understanding this is a business. I'm here to take care of you as I am here to take care of my own family because otherwise I wouldn't work with anybody that I don't want around my own family. It's just like this is my inside circle, but I will give everybody all the keys and codes that I have, because they're not mine. They're for all of us. But to actually culture, to be able to create a culture that's a space for people to be able to create, help each other, and gain what's theirs, prosperity, to be abundant and not hold back. I like people to find their value within themselves and being able to witness people. I don't believe that I could set value on anybody or tell them what their value is. And all I could do is witness them, see that, and find that in themselves. And I think that's one of the big, huge reasons why everybody who has worked with me in the past has stayed with me. The clients that I've worked with over the past 5, 7 years, we still talk regularly. I get Christmas text messages and cards in the mail. And it's because I'm there to educate. I'm here to listen. I'm here to learn more than anything else. It's just if I got 7 people around me, and yes, I may have done 10,000 mortgages, this might be your first one, but you have 7 other views of other things in life. I have no idea yet. So it's just, I still feel like I'm winning, it's just that, but also it's like the more you give, the more you get. And then it's cool. And I could go on forever with this, but yeah, that's a little bit
You
about
nailed it.
me.
I mean, like I said, it's there's a lot of different trigger words you could say there, but yeah, culture, right? It comes down to, like I said, transparency and culture, treating people like human beings. Is that unheard of? No, I mean that's how it should be, right? Like, yeah, colleagues, clients, superiors, people under you, that you're teaching and growing and stuff like that. We all have respect. We're all humans. We're all doing the same thing in life. Like, you know, like some people have that celebrity status and put them way up here. They're just people. They're just living a different path, right? Like, when you have friends, I have friends that are up there and in that stature, and they still have problems. They still have issues. They still have regular conversations. I mean, but yeah, I think that's the biggest thing. Have a good culture, treat people like people, and it's not difficult to do. It's actually more difficult to find ways to cheat systems or treat people badly. It takes a lot more work to do that than it does just to be a good human being. So I'm sure I could tell from us talking and hanging out and stuff like that. Like I said, you're just a good guy that people want to get around and hang around and talk to and hit you up on Christmas or whatever. so yeah, excited about that. By the way, how was Boy Scouts in New York?
It was really, really cool. So I grew up in Brooklyn, which we don't have a lot of forests and woods out there. But
Right.
30 minutes away, we have Staten Island. 45 minutes an hour, we have New Jersey and Pennsylvania, which is tough. And also, people forget outside of New York City, the entire state of New York is all country. There's
Right.
trees everywhere. So my troop that I was in was very active. We went camping once a month, normally from Friday to Sunday. Everything we ate, we had to cook on a wood fire that we created ourselves. We were not a propane troop. And it was fun, It's like we cut down trees, we had fires, we had fun, and we lifted each other up. We used real life skills besides these exaggerated life skills that, unless you were put in these situations, which I like to put myself in these situations. And I didn't even think about it until now. It's just like, I'm camping, AKA, just like I got a hoe. Like, I did, but, it's just understanding how to live if you have nothing. Put yourself to the bare minimums, how to eat, how to fish, how to survive, and how to put those foundations, those steps, those pillars and laws that they have. They have multiple different slogans and mottos. The motto is to, what is it? Do a good turn daily. The slogan is, let's see, I'll remember. But yeah,
I know I have my Boy Scout
yeah,
handbook around here somewhere. I was gonna pull it out, but I'm like,
yes.
oh, I don't know where it's at
The
exactly.
slogan is do a good turn daily and do your best is the motto. The law is to be trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. Yes, it's to understand
Is
that. And so Cub Scouts, Boy Scouts, and these are mudras as well. When you get into like energy and everything else, when you see people that are talking there in a court, whether it's a congressperson, why they put these hands these ways as they're speaking into energy power. But that's another weird woo thing we could jump onto another tangent. When you
yeah.
pray, all of it.
Yeah, I know. I was curious. I was in Boy Scouts too, like I've told you before, but I didn't go as far as you, and I wish I had. But I grew up in the desert, also in the middle of the boondocks. No big city for me, so we just go outside and have our meetings and stuff like that, and do our trips. But yeah, it's a great skill. Like I told my wife actually after we talked last week about it, it started making me think. I'm like, I told my wife this weekend, we got to get the boys into Boy Scouts. You know, they're not into their sports. We got to get them off their iPads. Let's get them learning stuff. My son tried to argue. He's like, I already know how to do that. I'm like, all right, show me 10 different knots. He's like, I don't know them. That's why you're going.
I can still tie you a cloak hitcher, a bowline, and by joining the Navy, and I became an Eagle. So I became an Eagle Scout in the Boy Scouts of America first. That gave me automatic rank in the military. So going in, you're already above everybody else because they understand that you went through a leadership program, and the United States government puts a lot on that. Like I have letters from astronauts and presidents, from Reagan when he was alive to Bill Clinton and John Glenn. It's a really big national thing, and it's cool once you kind of realize how to implement it. Just you could
Mm.
graduate from different schools or colleges and everything else and not actually implement those codes. They don't teach you how to run a business when you go to law school or doctors or anything else. They teach you how to work. And this is what we do. And a part of what we do too is just the leadership. It's just like, if you're ready, here's the next part of it all. Like, there's so many different layers of what we do, like an ogre, an onion.
Exactly. Chop it up. Chop it up. Awesome, man. Well, I love it. Like I said, I don't want to go too long. I know we got stuff to do. I'm excited to see where it's gonna go. What we're gonna do. Like I said, we all have our visions. We know where we want to be, where we want to go, and the path to get there is always the fun and exciting way too. And things change, and I told you working on that CRM and stuff like that, and they keep saying like, "How do you want it?" I'm like, "Well, here's the vision, but we're gonna make about 1,000 different detours on our way to get there." So it's like a road trip that without GPS. I just know I want to get to the other side of the country, and we might take some detours to get there, but we'll get there. So excited, super excited,
Same,
super
same.
excited.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm excited to be here, to be present, and like you said, take those detours, look for the Easter eggs, and we've already won.
Done. Yeah, I love it. We'll do more of these. We'll maybe talk on different topics like mindset and all this other stuff that's really good. Of course, systems and stuff like that. And we'll keep them coming, keep them going as we. That's my timer. I don't know. Do you hear that?
Yeah,
Okay. Well, I guess that's the timer for me to get off. Somebody's trying to call me.
perfect. Amen. Maktub. Well, I'll talk to you soon. Thank you. Yeah, I'm looking forward to our next meetup.
All right. Sounds good. Talk to you later.
Okay, bye.